Hello and welcome to my first video. I just wanted to do a general run through of this mini happy planner that I use. It is a Franken-planned planner because I have three sections, really two, but kind of three sections that I use in this planner, and I just keep in 2 to 3 months for each of those sections, and then the third section is really just some catch-alls with some filler paper. So I have some lined filler paper, some dot grid filler paper, and then just like a folder with a couple of stickers. One of the things that I highly recommend if you haven't done it before is to put together one of these. This I used actually both sets of papers and glued them together. Let me just take this off. And this is a kind of a guideline for me so that when I'm creating things from filler paper, I can see exactly where to split things up. If I want to divide the page by thirds or halves with a header, thirds or halves. So you can see the straight lines are halves, the dotted lines are thirds. And then I have the same thing on the other side, which you can see I made a mistake, but that's okay. For if I wanted to split up the lined paper. This is actually dot line paper, but yeah. So I just keep that right in here, just pop it back in. And that is a nice little handy tool for me. It also counts them, so if I really want to sit there and go, no, I need to divide it by 6. I know that there's 61 rows and I can start counting things, but yeah. Hi and welcome to my first video. I am just going to introduce you a little bit to my planning system. I use a happy planner. If you don't recognize this cover, it's simply because I make my own covers. But what I tend to do is use for my catch-all, I'm a decorative planner, so I use a lot of stickers and washi tape and stuff like that. And then I also have a section in here for my budget, which is much more functional, and I'll kind of walk you through how I do both of those things. And yeah, so just to get started, I did want to just quickly show you my cover. So it's a little hard to get this all in focus, and my apologies. This is my first one. My cover is actually from a coloring book. I think I actually have a copy of the coloring book, but don't ask me where it is. And what I did was I colored it in and then cut it out and then laminated it so that it's sturdier. I actually laminated it twice just to make sure that it's nice and sturdy, and then punched it using a happy punch. And this is the catch-all cover that I have, and then I also have a cover for the section of my planner that I use for the budget. And then I have a third cover, which is just kind of a makeshift cover that I don't really like to look at because I don't think it's very pretty, which is just for my note paper. And in there I keep just a little bit of a folder with some stickers. And then I have some lined paper and some dot grid paper, as well as a nice little handy dandy tool that I use when I'm making some of my own sheets of paper. So I like to sometimes create my own spreads. And when I do that, this is really helpful because it shows me kind of a guideline of how to split up the page if I'm splitting it in half or splitting it in thirds. Again, either way, kind of with a little room for a header, as well as numbering how many rows and columns there are in the grid so that I can easily divide it by other numbers if I need to. And then I have the same thing on the other side for the lined paper, just so that again I can kind of get a sense of what I want to do. I made a mistake, but you know, that's what whiteout is for. Anyway, but most of the real guts of the thing are in this catch-all section of the planner. And the catch-all section of the planner, I have a lot of things I'm going to flip through really quickly. Besides just, you know, this is 2020. I only really keep generally 2 to 3 months. I keep the current month, the next month, and sometimes I keep the prior month depending on what's going on and if I want to be able to see what I've been doing. But I also have created a lot of my own pages, you can see. So this is fabulous idea if you haven't done this. This is ideas to unwind and take care of me, which I just have a whole bunch of a list of different things that I like to do. I have my bucket list, some goals for 2020, 20 things I want to do in 2020. I have a life coach and I have goals for her. I have saving, just kind of different things, weekly habit goals. And then I get started into the month. So you can see this is June and just a couple of different things. I don't really use the monthly very much, at least not for my catch-all. I'm much more involved in the weekly spreads, which, as you can see, I have a tendency to flood with stickers. I love stickers. I love floral stickers. So I have a lot of floral stickers. I also have horrible handwriting. So I kind of feel like having a lot of stickers just detracts from the horribleness of my handwriting. So, for example, this is July, and you can see I barely touch the monthly spread, and I'm not even going to show you every page, but hey, yeah, I'll do a quick flip through just to give you an idea. So you can see these are the weeks leading up to this one, and then this is my current week, which is not my favorite week because I think I put too many stickers in again. But this is next week's, which I think came out really nice. I have a number of different sticker books that I use, as well as sometimes using washi tape. This is actually just all stickers and then just a little bit of highlighter with black ink. I use the Pilot G2 as my pen of choice, and then I have way too many. I have 3 things of this with highlighters and colors and just, yeah. I know I don't compare it to a lot of people on YouTube, so that makes me feel a little bit better, but I definitely have a lot of different stickers and I have a lot of different pens and highlighters and markers and washi tape. Yeah, a lot. Anyway, so this is kind of how I tend to do my spreads. I'll walk you through making one when I'm making the new one. But generally what I like to do is make sure that I have at least one per day, with the exception sometimes of Saturdays, because I'm Sabbath observant, so I don't really do a lot on Saturdays except keep the Sabbath. But but every other day I try to make sure that I have room for a checklist, because I use this primarily as appointments. You can see I have a couple of appointments as well as to-do lists. So that's that and just making me feel happy. So that's what I tend to use the weeklies for in my spread. Moving into the budget planner, I like to do a lot of stuff. I will put stickers on the dates that I know that I have credit card payments or house mortgage payments or different things like that, and then as I get the thing in the mail, or usually the email, I try not to use mail as much as possible, I'll write in what the actual amount is, as well as writing it into the future on the bottom. So let me show you unfilled in what I do for the budget. So my budget is split into 2 categories. I have a section for, make sure it's in food, a section for other, and then I just keep the total and then any bills that are being paid. So for example, I have a set amount that I'm allowed to spend each week on food, a set amount that I'm allowed to spend each week on anything else. So food is kind of grocery stores or farmers markets or even delivery or restaurants, which we're not really going to right now. But other can be basically catch-all for anything else. Occasionally I'll have larger purchases that I'll kind of count as unbudgeted and put in with the bills, but generally I try to keep them up here and stay within my budget. The other thing that I do, let me get you to the current page, which, as you can see, my horrible handwriting. So what I'll put in is what my checking account's starting balance is. Then I have bills plus and minus. So for example, this month this week I had a PayPal bill, I had a mortgage, I have to pay my dad's student loan, I have cable, I have a United card, and then I have a payday. So the payday, once I have the exact amount, I'll fill that in and that'll become a positive bill. So that's what this is referring to. And then the negative is the total of all of these things. With the exception of things in brackets, I keep brackets for things that are credit card purchases. So because this was a credit card purchase, it won't actually get deducted from my checking account now. It'll get deducted later, but it's accounted for in my budget, which is why it's just there, because that's the day that the credit card company tax it in. And then you can see this pink highlighted thing is an example of where I said, oh, I had an expense, but it's over budget, but I'm not going to count it as other because it's just too expensive. It was $77 for my vehicle inspection because I didn't want to wait 4 hours in line, so I went to a private vehicle inspection agency. Don't ask. Anyway, so that is a credit card purchase, so it won't actually come through, but it's just a way for me to record it. But generally what I'll do I'll do a whole video on this separately just to kind of show you how I do it when I start it out. But I keep track of the start, the bills, any cash in or out, so that's if I deposit or withdraw money from the account, then what the ending balance is, and then any unbudgeted, which again isn't really taken into account here because I do not use cash envelopes. I bought tons of cash envelopes and got a wallet specifically to use for cash envelopes, and then hated it because I buy a lot of things online, and yeah, I hated using cash envelopes, so I just don't use them. So everything pretty much is paid by credit card. You can see I have a lot of Amazon purchases. I can tell you that Uber Eats, not cash. Fruit and vegetable store, not cash. Bed Bath & Beyond, this was something that I bought, not cash. It was online. Barnes & Noble is online. This is all online purchases, with the exception of the fruit and vegetable store. Well, we're in quarantine, so, what do you expect? And even that I do on credit cards. So none of the things in these top two categories really are cash withdrawals, which is fine. Even if they were, then that would be fine too. I count things in my credit, in my wallet as being the same as anything else. So a cash in or out just means that I withdrew money from the bank account. It has so these things actually don't come into this except for the unbudgeted. So if it's over budget, like you can see I'm $95 over budget right now. Oh, wait, it's Thursday, so no, I spent money today, but only on food. I'll show you what I'll do. So I actually went back to the fruit and vegetable store today, fruit and veggies, and I spent $10. And then what I'll do is at the end of the day, which we're going to pretend we're at the end of the day because I shouldn't spend any more money, I subtract that from what it was yesterday, so I have $8 left in my food budget, which is bad because I'm going out on Sunday. And then negative 85 and other, and then because there's nothing in here, I like to actually keep it directly on one of these little dashboards, and of course it's going to give me problems today. Come here. There we go. Just tear it off, stick it on. I just printed this off of my printer, and then voila, I have a little note saying that it's supposed to encourage me to not spend every day. But that's my budget. And then yeah, that's just a little tour of my system. I am actually getting a classic happy planner. It's supposed to be today, but it's probably not going to happen.